Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the future star Jean-Claire Todibo. I did get this card as I got a few duplicates from my Division Rivals rewards. We're going to be going through the player's detail stats, clip summary, all that good stuff. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card. Guys, I'm sorry this review took so long and that it is such a late review, but hopefully this helps you guys make your decision about whether to do this card or not. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, this is the team that I used Future Stars Todibo in. We played him in the 4-2-3-1. I played him next to Sol Campbell. And overall, first impressions of this card, guys, I really did enjoy using this card. I think this card is actually a very decent centre-back for what you're getting, especially having covered those. We're going to cover those SBC requirements after this. You guys will see where that value comes in for this. Without further ado, let's get into the player review. Jean-Claire Todibo, 6'3", medium-high work rates, right-footed, 4-star moves, and 2-star weak foot. Now, guys, immediately off the bat, you may say the only thing wrong here is the 2-star weak foot. Guys, there's something off here because actually I think his weak foot is maybe 3-star. He played a lot of passes for me with his left foot. I actually thought he was left-footed for the first 2 games that I played with him. Which was really surprising to me to find out that he was right-footed. So he did play reasonably well with his left foot. I don't really think it's that bad. Of course, the 4-star skill moves are okay for you skillers out there, but I don't think he has the greatest agility, so you may not be able to pull them off as well as you want to. 4 games played, no goals scored, and no assists. In terms of the chemistry style I put on, guys, I put the anchor chemistry style on. I wanted to boost that pace, defending, and physicality. Just give him a better overall defensive capability. And guys, I think he performed really well for me. His linkability is good as well, being French and coming from Nice as well. So you've got some nice ways to link him into your team. Getting into the attribute details. Now, guys, the key ones here are the 91 stand tackle, brilliant. The 85 strength, fantastic. As well as that interceptions of 88. Now guys, overall you may think this looks rather underwhelming considering what you would expect for this player given the value of the SBC, which we'll get into shortly. But guys, overall I actually think this card played pretty well, especially with that chemistry style boost. His acceleration and sprint speed isn't too bad. I think maybe I would, in hindsight, put a shadow on him just to boost that acceleration and sprint speed a little more and make him a really fast centre back. But his physicality is pretty good and his defending is pretty decent. The only con I would say about his physicality is that 81 stamina is a little bit low, especially for medium-high work rates. He is running around a lot. But overall, guys, I don't find it too much of an issue. In terms of cons, guys, now considering where the price point this is sitting at, again, I'm not trying to compare this to the top level centre-backs. I'm comparing him to the level that he is at. I think the 80 agility is a slight con. He does move reasonably well, but it would be nice if he was just a little more slick on the ball, so you may want to boost that instead of boosting his pace. But overall, guys, I didn't really find that many cons of this card. Otherwise, I loved how he played for me. He played really well compared to my usual centre-back, who is usually Boateng. I actually thought he played better than Boateng for me as well, so that was nice to have. In terms of player traits, we've been done dirty again on the future stars. There are no player traits to speak of for this card. So without further ado, having covered all that, we're going to get into some of the SBC requirements so that you can get your hands on him. So guys, getting into some of the Jean-Claire Todibo SBC requirements. Now guys, 158k for this second squad here, and what you require is 1 informed player, an 85 rated squad with 75 chemistry. Now, that's quite difficult to do, guys, and that's probably why the cost is so high. People are capitalizing on the fact that you can lock off certain players for this. Of course, the one before that as well, the 56k, the first squad is another informed player, 83 rated squad with 1 player from Ligue 1. So again, quite difficult to build cheaply. Of course, 56k isn't that expensive considering what the larger SBC is, but I do think it's still expensive considering what you need to do to get these 2 squads together. Overall, guys, I think this is fairly reasonable price. We'll get more into that in the summary, but I do like how well this has been priced. You guys will see more of that as we compare the player to his counterparts in different leagues and, of course, in Ligue 1 as well. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go through some of the clips of them. Let's go to the tape. So guys, getting through some of Jean-Claire Todibo's clips, on what you guys are going to see here is his overall defensive capability, whether it's the tackling, whether it's the coming out of defense and winning the ball cleanly, just in terms of winning the ball from open play, or just in general, guys, the interceptions on the ball, the blocking of the shots, all of it. This guy was fantastic at it. Now, the main thing that I want to talk about with this card, and it's a very big reason as to why I enjoyed this card as much as I enjoyed Boateng, you guys are seeing some strong tackling in the background whilst we discuss this, is his size. Now, he is 6'3", he is a little leaner than Boateng is. He doesn't play like so much of a fridge, but what you do have is incredible length on this card. His legs are huge. He's a very good player in terms of his size, and that means, guys, that you're able to stretch for tackles, get in the way of a lot of shots, especially with the blocks the way they are this year. This card is very good for that. There you guys can see that length coming into play, where he's just able to stick out a leg, strong leg, win the ball back easily, and keep going after players as well. I think that length as well helps him in his stride when he is trying to catch up to opponents as well. And his overall physicality, guys, is phenomenal. You'll see there as well the stride helping him out to keep in line with Mbappe and win the ball back. And over again, you could use that physicality and that size to really dominate your opponent, make sure that you retain the ball well, or just, you know, get yourself out of tight situations as well, like this one here where it looks like it could be a goal. That length again coming so handy with this card, and I really do think for that reason that this card alone is worth it, just because of the way he can defend with that amazing physicality and decent defensive stats as well. He's very clean in the tackle as well, guys. You'll see a number of tackles there in and around the box, which I'm not afraid to make at all, just because I know that my opponent is not going to be getting past those tackles there. They're very clean, they're very well done. I don't think I gave away a single penalty with him in the box. And overall, guys, I was thoroughly impressed with how good this card was, considering that he is 200k, French League, Nice, 87 rated. I wasn't expecting all of this from this card. But overall, guys, I do think that he is worth that price tag. We'll get more into that in the summary. And what you guys will have seen as well from the start of these clips, I was actually using him with his left foot. I actually thought he was left-footed for 2 games. So to find out he's right-footed as well, I don't think that 2-star weak foot is as bad as it was made out. There, that chance was actually offside, but you saw that slide tackle there to win that back, and it was such a good tackle as well. And I love the way that this card can play, especially in that pocket of just trying to stop defenders as well, getting in the way of shots. Again, beautiful physicality. And you can be really aggressive with this card, guys. You really can push out with it as well, which is nice to have in centre-backs as well. In these last couple of clips, you'll see another block there, and in this final one here, you're going to see some chasing down. One tackle here where he takes the ball away from De Bruyne, and then a follow-up tackle to take the ball away again from the fullback and drive out with it. So guys, getting into this final Jean-Claire Todibo summary, 214k on the PlayStation, 209 on the Xbox, 239 on the PC. Now guys, that is an expensive SBC, especially for a lower rated centre back. That is sometimes, in some cases, quite difficult to link into your team if you're not going to build a Ligue 1 team or put a lot of weak links around him and compromise your team in some sort of way. However guys, I do think that this card is a very good card. Of course, the key stats here to look out for: his tackling stats, his interceptions in general, and his general physicality as well. His passing is pretty decent as well. The short pass definitely better than the long pass, and overall his dribbling is okay. I didn't think it was particularly great, but I don't think it's bad either. I think it's very usable, and with a chemistry style boost you can help yourself out on this card a little bit. In terms of the recommended chemistry style, guys, now of course you could go standard shadow with the pace and the defending boost. However guys, I liked putting the anchor on him, as it gave him a little more physicality, boosted his pace to a reasonable level, and you can cover him with a faster centre back next to him, one slightly smaller, because he is so tall and able to win those headers as well. In terms of similar players, guys, now I originally thought this card played a lot like Jerome Boateng, but actually as I played more games with him, guys, I found that he was in his own right a much different player. I think this card has a lot more slickness than that Jerome Boateng. Jerome Boateng much more clunky, so I would say a lean, slim version of Jerome Boateng, which makes it easier to move with him, just as solid in the tackle, just as big and imposing as that player as well. Guys, finally getting into the link ability before we go into the recommendation and the comparison. You've of course got the perfect links to the rule breaker Kamara. Hopefully some of you guys got that out of your party bags. Of course, strong links to a bunch of French players, that Camavinga there of course, but also a bunch of other players as we get further down this list: the Bambas, Koscielny's, Kenny Lalas, Kimpembe's, all those kind of players as well. Of course, that Ligue Mollet there as well. So guys, plenty of linkability there as well. So I mean, it's not that you have to compromise your team, but if you are not going to build a Ligue 1 team, you may struggle to link this card in, especially in some of those other teams like going to the Bundesliga. I think you'd have to use someone like Roussillon maybe at left back, who's not obviously the best at this stage in the game, but you still can build him in. Finally guys, in terms of my recommendation, now first of all, what I wanted to do, guys, was look at the comparison to other Ligue 1 centre backs. Now as you guys can see here, he is, I think, the second most expensive Ligue 1 centre back behind Presnel Kimpembe. I do think that he is better than Kimpembe. I do like this Kimpembe card, but I do think this Jean-Claire Todibo is better purely because of his physicality and ability to impose on the other players and impose on the game as well. I think he leaps and bounds ahead of this Koscielny. I used this Koscielny for a very long time. I do think he is double the price of this Koscielny. Koscielny made a lot of mistakes for me, and I do think he's slightly better than this Marquinhos. So I would say, in terms of the Ligue 1 centre backs, you're sitting at the right sort of price level. If we get into the comparison to other centre-backs across the game, of course, there again you have the Kimpembe. You're sitting next to Fernando Hierro, Franco Baresi, Bobby Moore, Fabinho. Now, in terms of comparing him to all these guys, Alessandro Bastoni is just lower there as well. I think he's way better than all these cards. I have tried the Bastoni card recently, please do check that review out as well. I think he's much better than the Bastoni card, especially with the combination of power and defending. Bastoni not very physically imposing. I do think that compared to this Boateng, it's a very, very tight race between him and this Boateng. I do think that he has some pros over Boateng, and Boateng has some stuff over him as well. I did enjoy using Todibo more, but maybe as I use him more, I would find more flaws with him. Overall, I do think he's running Boateng very close, so I think this card is fantastic value, which brings me to my final recommendation, guys, of that you should definitely try and do this card if you can. I do think he is a fantastic player, and will continue to be so, I think, for the next couple of months at least. I think after that you're looking at a couple of promos coming in, especially Team of the Season, of course, which will start to make this card redundant, but it will be serviceable up until that point, and you can definitely cover his flaws with a good centre back next to him. Hope you guys did enjoy that review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.